Good morning, boys and girls. It's the day you've all been waiting for. That's right, we're gonna go plant. Well, not with the field cultivators, with the planters, but we gotta field cultivate first. I remember last video I was like, oh yeah, it'll be like, you know, a solid week before we start planting, and sure enough, the next day, here we are. Oil looks solid. Always check your dipstick. I just realized I had a knife in that. So, YouTube, don't cancel me. Anywho's, we're gonna start planting today, if you haven't picked that up yet. Want to take the camera today, Max? Alright, but share that angle you make with me. Okay. So me and Max are going to be running the field cultivators today. We kind of got to make a little plan. Since the planters will be pretty much right behind us. We're in like I don't know how big this field is, probably 300 acres. And a lot of ends. So we like to do the ends last before the planters, just so it's nice and smooth. They're 60 feet, these are 60 feet. Everything just lines up good. So we're kind of making a plan of how we're going to do things. Usually we have one guy do like the very edge and the next guy line up right behind him. Well, 60 feet off. That way we have a perfect 120 in just one swoop. One guy doesn't have to do all the ends, and it just makes things very simple. Max and I are still going pretty solid here. Hopefully we can get most of these ends done on like the west side of the home place, so we can stay ahead of the planters. Then we got a little field just across the creek we're gonna knock out quick, and then just keep working our way west. I think we'll be able to stay ahead pretty easily, but I'm probably not gonna hop out a lot today and, you know, walk around and kill time that way, because, you know, it's not the most efficient thing to do in the world. But we'll see if we can get some other footage besides me just talking to you guys sitting in the cab. But I will say it's pretty nice sitting in the cab, so I won't be mad about it. You guys might be, but I won't be. It's just a stupid boulder. It's not just a boulder, it's a rock. That rock was much bigger than I anticipated. That kind of hurt. But you know what? That's the sacrifice we make for the planter guys. Keep them happy. Looks like Michael's already going to pick it up. What a guy. Alright guys, we finished off this field here. Max actually moved over to the next field already. We only have one more field about a mile west of here that I think we're actually going to do today. I'm not for sure though, but that's kind of the way things are pointing. The planters aren't quite where we want them to be. Even if they do get rolling, this field will take them a solid, 4 or 5 hours to plant, if not more. So if it rains tomorrow, we don't want to have ground worked up that we want to plant. We'll have to work it up again, if that makes sense. We don't want to have ground that we're worked up sitting in the rain then coming back to plant. We want to work it up and then plant it right away. So we might just do those 2 fields and then see what the weather does tomorrow. I mean, if we get up 5:30, 6 o'clock and start, we can stay ahead of them pretty easily. So that's kind of the plan. Let's move fields. Alright, boys and girls, got to the next field. As you can see, there's a lot of green in this field, but we planted this green stuff. So this is actually oats. I don't know how well the camera's gonna do its justice, but we cover cropped this field with oats back when we started planting, probably late February, early March. We just came through with the seeders and planted an oat crop. Now, oats aren't the most expensive thing to plant or harvest. Really, it's more just a cover crop for our fields. along with the alfalfa and clover, but this was just oats. This field was plowed last fall. This is actually where I broke, I think, the 14 bottom in half, so, you know, good memories in this field. But since there is a cover crop in this field, and we want to make sure we get it all, you know, worked up so we don't grow oats with our corn, because that'd just be a mess. We're gonna lower this cultivator back. I don't know if you guys watched last video. I hope you did. If you didn't, go watch it. We raised this up because we were in a bean field, or a field that we had already leveled that was relatively flat, and we didn't plant a cover crop in it. I hate that sound. Anyway, so we didn't really have to run it that deep, and the last field was beans last fall, wasn't that rigid, so we were fine going the depth we were going. But now that we have something to work up, really, I'm going to lower it about 1.5 to 2 inches, kind of put it back to where it was when we were doing the first pass tillage, if that makes sense. And with this field being plowed last fall, there was a lot of, I don't know, furrows. There's not supposed to be. I'm not the best guy in the world to do plowing, but I sure do a lot of it. Anyway, there's a lot of furrows. It's really soft in the spring, so when I came here in the fall, in the spring for the first pass, I went at like a 6-degree angle, really steep angle, and put the depth like crazy deep. Not like amazingly deep, but I was going pretty slow, but I think I leveled it up pretty nice. We're gonna go opposite of what I did first pass, hopefully level out even more, and get this cover crop out of here. I think we're gonna leave the flashers and hazards on because, you know, BTO type things. Also, we got Maxie in this field with us as well, so we're gonna get some pretty cool drone shots here in a little bit, but we might do some staging for that. 10-4. Alright, Max laid out the angle for us already, but he didn't share it with us, so we gotta make our own. But we should be going here in like 30 seconds. For you guys, it'll be 1 second. Hello? You there, Dan? Yep. Yeah, what's the plan after this field?
So Jack and I were just talking about that. I think one of you will go finish 26.
Okay.
One of you will go do some more buses.
All right.
And then probably around 5:30, 6 o'clock, we want you to be at North Brennan.
Say that again.
Around 5:30 or 6 o'clock. We'll see where you're at on those, but if you're not done at 5:30, we want to talk. Because I think we're going to have you do North Brennan in the daylight, and then go to the shop and have them ready to start early in the morning.
All right.
Sound like a plan?
Yep, sounds good.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yep.
Working good?
Yeah, I would say so. It's getting the cover crop out good. I lowered it a little bit. But yeah, it's working up nice, I think.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yep, bye.
Goodbye.
I don't know if you guys can really hear that, but we are going to keep on going. Me and Max are going to go to different fields after this field, though, so let's take the drone up real quick. Alright guys, this field's done. It worked up super nice. Killed off all that cover crop. Turned the dirt up, made it nice and black. Leveled out a little bit more the furrow left over from last fall. I think this field looks really good. Ready to plant, so I think we're gonna start planting. I think they did start planting, so I'm sorry I'm not in a planter, but not that important, I guess. That was a joke. Well, not really, but I enjoy running the cultivator. Nice and laid back. Don't really have to deal with too many people, so that's why I kind of like it. I can just talk to you guys all day. Isn't that fun? Anywho, we're gonna hit the road and move on to the next field, as we do. You know, we'll probably fold up first because I also don't want to have to explain why I tried to go down the road with a 60-foot cultivator unfolded. I'm not sure I'd really get down the road, but you guys get the point. There goes Lucas, just hauling poop. Alright guys, we've been going for a little while in this next field. I'm gonna, well, not a little while, like a round, but I'm gonna shallow this back up. This is plowed ground we're working up, but it's been worked up already at a really steep angle. The ridges aren't really bad here, the furrows. And it's pulling quite hard that one round, and I don't want to burn a lot of fuel. So as long as we're knocking out these weeds and keeping it nice and level, we should be fine. I don't know if you guys remember that last video I did out here in that bean field or oat field that was ripped. There was a lot more clover and stuff rooted back in. This field was plowed, so there's not really a whole lot of trash or really anything on top compared to that field, which is why we like to plow, especially clover and alfalfa fields. It just buries all the trash. Rarely does it root back in. I mean, I would say in that one field compared to this field, maybe half as much rooted back in. But we shallowed this up a little bit. Hopefully we can pull it a little bit easier. It wasn't pulling like super hard, but we were going deep enough that it was a little unnecessary, I thought. So that's what's up. Yeah, boss.
Hey, I'm blinking on fuel here at North Brennan, but I got like 2 rounds from the hog site, and I'm behind the hog site, all that's left. Everything else is done.
Yep, I still got like a round left here on buses, and then the east end, and I'm at an 1/8 of fuel, so I'm not sure I'm going to be any better than you are by the time I get there.
If I take this in the fuel, I ain't gonna come back out here to finish.
Okay, well one of us is gonna have to. Because I'm probably gonna be blinking on fuel by the time I get done here. Alright, so we're just going here. I'm just finishing up this last field. It's like 8 o'clock. I'm at 13% fuel, and Max is on the last field we have to do today at 7% fuel. So hopefully we can get these done. I don't know if you guys have ever ran anything out of fuel. I got a funny story about that real quick. So this is like the first year out of high school for me, like summer of 2020. We're doing oat harvest up at Lake Park. So it's the last day of oat harvest. Everybody's really happy because, I mean, we just finished up oat harvest. It's a good feeling. Anyway, we get done, all the combines and trucks are full. We gotta take trucks up in the morning, but that's besides the point. So we have 2 pickups and there's like 6 of us. So 6 of them, or 4 of the guys stay there, excuse me, and top off all the fuel and DEF for the next day so we can take everything down. And, well, not top off, but just, you know, make sure we have enough fuel to get home, enough DEF to get home. Anyway, me and Spencer, if you're watching this, I'm sure you remember this really good, but we were about 5 minutes away from Okoboji, or Milford, which is about 20 minutes from the field we were at, and all of a sudden we get a phone call saying, hey, this pickup ran out of gas. Now keep in mind, there was like 6, maybe 7 people up there that had to go home in 2 pickups. So it's not like we could just, you know, leave it in the field and take up gas in the morning. That pickup was coming home one way or another that night. So it had a fuel trailer on, obviously, because we needed fuel for the day. So anyway, we ended up turning around. We hooked up to the pickup carrying a fuel trailer with like 1 log chain. It was probably the dumbest thing, well, not the dumbest thing, but it was one of the not smart things we've done, or that I've been a part of. And we pulled a 3/4 ton pickup about 10 miles, and probably I'm just gonna guess and say a 5,000 pound fuel trailer into Milford's Casey's, you know, right off Highway 71. And I just remember sitting in the parking lot at like 11:30 at night, eating an ice cream sandwich and filling a pickup full of fuel because someone didn't fill it up before I left the farm that morning. Somewhere that has access to fuel. Obviously now and back then we had fuel trailers and we have fuel in in places more than we did back then, but it's always stuck with me that even if you're in a rush to go somewhere, it takes more time to ask somebody for help or get help getting fuel in a pickup or a tractor because you thought you were in too much of a hurry to stop and get fuel. I think there's a deeper life meaning to that, but I don't know, I just thought that story's funny and I thought I'd share it. I do think I've shared that story before on here, so if you heard that for the second time, I'm sorry but not sorry. Anywho, we just finished up this field. We're sitting at still 13% fuel, so we'll see if we can knock out that last field real quick.
Yeah.
I do think Max only said there's like 2 rounds left, so it shouldn't be a big issue, but he's been blinking on fuel for a little while here, so he probably should not pull, I'm not going to say any names, but he shouldn't pull a Lake Park 2020 and run out of fuel.
And we behind Big Plate and then Berry South.
Alright, we're just going to unfold. We only have there's a little sliver over there behind that hog site we got to get done. We're at 8% fuel. I probably should have just went and put a little fuel in there. So I guess we'll see if we can finish this field or look like an idiot and have a tractor sit in the middle of the field for a little while here. Alright, we just finished the field. Now I'm not sure if that means I'm low on fuel or if this tractor's gonna quit running because there's no fuel in it, but I suppose you have to watch the next episode of Ferris Farming Organic to find out whether we leave this tractor on the side of the road somewhere or if it'll make it back to the shop just fine. But I guess you'll have to watch the next episode of Ferris Farming Organic to find out. Catch you guys in the next one.